So today I'm here with my husband again because I think that relationships are so important. They're important for your wealth, your joy, your life purpose. They're important for so many things. And there's a lot of subjects that people come to us for help with that we just thought we'd throw out there and share. So one of them is having separate bank accounts. And we talked about this the other day, and we were like, ooh, we need to share this because this is interesting. To know how other people feel and how other people deal with this. We don't have a separate bank account, but we have lots of friends who do. And so we just think there's pieces of it that are important to make sure that there's no animosity.
Well, we're driving down the road. What it really is, what do you think about this? So if this segment would be like, so what do you think about this? Bank accounts. And I told her, she asked me what my thought is on it. And honestly, my mom was married 5 times. I've been married 3 times. I've seen about...
Me too.
I've seen enough. But the only ones I've ever been a part of, either as a child or me, was shared accounts. And I'm obviously going to talk about what I know. My opinion is I believe that true love, and it sounds warped, but bear with me, is giving someone the ability to destroy you and hoping they don't use it. And I know that sounds weird. I kind of run everything when it has to do with relationships through that metric. So doing that, I hate to say they can't destroy you financially, so I don't think it's a good idea. God, it just sounds so weird to say, but that's how I run anything about relationships. I run it through that metric. Is it something that it's not, to me, it's not true love if you can't be destroyed.
So what's your thought? Because I do have friends who they have separate bank accounts, but each of the partner's name is also on it. So they could get it if they needed to, if the person passed away or something, but it's still available to them, but they just do their finances separately.
For me, I don't think that that's separate if your name's on it.
It's just 2 different accounts
Yeah,
of pain.
if someone, what you said is a tragedy happened, that person still has access. I was thinking more, it's just separate, because if that was the case, let's say if you and I had separate accounts, I would probably still be working and I would probably do overtime and be gone a lot just to get cooler stuff than you had.
So he would be in competition with me. So good thing I'm the one that likes working because I don't have that gene.
I'm not sure I'd even let you drive my car.
Oh my gosh. He loves me so much. He's kidding. You're kidding.
You drive really good. But for me, maybe it's just the way I am about it. If you wanted my opinion on it, would I be in a relationship if someone said we want separate accounts? I'd be like, I'd still do it. It's just gut instinct is it's not for me.
So we have separate accounts, say, and we both have access to them. But if I make more, do I pay more of the bills?
I honestly think that if it's to keep it separate, so again, I've never been in that relationship, but no, I mean, I think you should pay your half or whatever. I guess if you want to agree on how you want to do it, but to me,
what if we can afford more, a nicer house, if the person who makes more is willing to pay a higher amount? And if you do it on the mortgage, do you do it on all the utilities, the food? Do you split it on everything? Or do you think, I know a lot of people who, this person will pay the health insurance and this person will pay the car payments. Is that a fair...
So then if the other person gets a raise, does the other person get to pay less then?
I don't know. That's a great question. I guess I would think so, because now I'm coming closer to the other person who is paying more. I don't see how it doesn't create animosity, because I have zero animosity to you retiring. I wanted him to. It was my idea. In fact, when we first got together, I said that I was going to retire him when he was 50, and he didn't think I could, and I did it. And I'm so proud of it, and I feel so good about it. And he's always like, if this was switched around and I worked all day and came home and you were doing what I was doing, I'd be so mad. Good thing it's not switched around then. I feel like if I have a separate account, we're both working, we have separate accounts, and I'm struggling and you're buying stuff and having fun with it, I would feel like, what the hell, we're partners. Why am I over here struggling and you're having fun shopping? I feel like that would be hard for me.
No, I agree. But it depends on then whose idea.
Was it to switch it?
We're talking about something that I've never gone through. It's just how I would feel. If you wanted separate accounts and you had this really cool trust fund, and you were like, "Well, I'm gonna just go and buy. I like you have a crap box car, but you gotta see my new Louis purse."
Right.
I'd be like, "Dude, come on, can I have some of your purse money?"
Yeah, that's how I feel too, because in my mind, a marriage is a partnership, and what's yours is mine. I tell you all the time. If you order food, it's also mine.
Do you really want to get into a French fry debate?
And vice versa, but he doesn't like vegetables, so
Yeah.
it never helps him.
It doesn't matter. You just want my cinnamon roll and French fries.
But in my mind, it's a partnership. One person shouldn't be struggling to figure it out while the other person isn't feeling the pressure or isn't.
And I guess that a fair split to where they both feel comfortable with does alleviate that.
Well, then are you tit for tat? We went out to a restaurant, so now you paid last time, so I'll pay next time. That doesn't feel like a partnership to me.
What if you put in $100 away into an IRA and I can only put $10 away into an IRA, and now your retirement's better than mine?
Right.
I don't know.
Well, but I do think in this state, the retirement wouldn't matter. It would split, I think, after a certain amount of years.
Especially if...
But still, I think the feeling of it doesn't feel good. I'm only putting 10 and you're putting 100 or whatever. I don't know. I feel like you get married, and now both of us have been married 3 times, and I didn't want to get married a second time. And then the third time I was like, I knew right away that I wanted to. Actually, it's the only time I ever changed my last name of the 3 marriages. And I did it right away because I was like, oh, this one's forever. So I think that we have a very special and we're very lucky in our relationship. But we've also been through so much. And so many people come to us for advice, which is the only reason the subject came up is we're like, how do we guide people when we don't know the difference? But this is just our thinking in that subject. And I just really think like you get married so that you're not doing it by yourself. You get married because it's like us against the world. It's like us on the journey.
I would think that if I could trust you to help raise my kids, I should be able to trust you in financial decisions as well.
Right.
But I have heard, I remember years ago there was that relationship where the girl was so mad at her husband because he bought VCRs and TVs. Remember that? It was years ago. But she just called it
just
stupid
random
stuff
crap.
that they had to do it.
They had to separate it so they didn't fight. So maybe if it's causing, but now, so why can't you solve it though as a couple and say you're not going to buy those things because as a couple we're going to decide anything over this amount we talk to each other?
What about this? This is so bad. But what about if you just said, I'm going to give you an allowance and we share the money? Oh God, I'd feel so bad about that. I'd go over my allowance.
I know.
But I don't know. I just can't.
Now, I have a super good friend who her husband made a lot of money and she made really good money for the hours that she worked and what she did. And she had no bills. He covered everything pretty much. So her money was mostly just her car and play money. But they decided to put it together at one point because they'd been together for so many years. And they had it together for 1 month. And she went and got Botox and filler or something. And he was like, you spent how much on your face? And she's like, never mind. I'm putting it back in my own account. So I guess I could see that if one person's able to just cover everything and they're fine and there's no need for the second income and that's just play money, I guess I could see it as a side.
One of the halves would not show the other what was in the account or statements.
Ooh, that's not good for me.
That's not being able to look at a phone.
Because yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. So I think that would be a little bit of a deal breaker for me. You have to, especially if we're splitting, I have to know what your part is, what you actually are bringing in, and where is it going?
I get it, man. I've had friends that were into golf, and if they got a little extra scratch that week in the overtime, they would maybe buy a golf club or something. So I get it. But also, I know a guy that one time he told his girlfriend he was golfing, and he didn't even bring his golf clubs. So it's like...
I think they have bigger problems.
Yeah, this is 20 years ago, but I saw it. I don't know. It's just... How strong is your relationship? I always think that you should be able to have access to my phone at all times.
I agree.
I don't know where my money's going, or I don't know. And then if I had addiction issues, you'd want to make sure that you were...
Well, and I just think that if we're doing life together, then we have to know everything that we have at our disposal to know what that life looks like. Because if I have no clue what's in your bank account, I can't really plan. We can't really plan as a couple. That's a weird thing to hide.
What, golf?
No, what your bank statement says.
But I'm just saying that you'd have no access to it.
No, you wouldn't. But see, that's why I just can't do the two. I don't. And I know lots of people who do it successfully and love it and would never want it the other way, and they're happy.
They're happy.
So this again is just our opinion, but it was something that we had been asked by a couple that was getting married what our opinion on it was, and we gave ours, and they had gotten different opinions from other people, and we're like, what a great thing to just throw out there and get opinions on, throw out what we think about it, and really like what I think is weird. I think a lot of couples, it's not weird, it's actually kind of common. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about money. They don't want to talk about finances. They don't want to talk about things that are stressful.
That's 80% of all fights, I think.
I know, but because they won't talk about it. Back in the day when we were struggling with something, if he bought a golf shirt or something, he would feel bad. And I'd be like, well, I spent 3 times that on the stuff I bought. But
that was before I knew what Botox cost.
And so then I'd feel bad that he felt bad, but I was like, we don't need to talk about it because mine was worse. But also we weren't fighting about it. That's the difference too. And I do all of our finances and I pay the bills and I know what's going on in the bank accounts, which is a dangerous game for you, honey, because you've been through that before. But you trust me.
I don't. No, I'm good. As long as when I go to get gas, my card works.
Right.
I mean, I have such traumatic. I have trauma.
Right.
On using a debit card and having it not work.
Right.
I still, to this day, when I go to get the stuff for the stand, the bakery stuff, there's a Chevron I go by. And I still remember the time I couldn't get breakfast or lunch, whatever it was you eat for the day.
From the Chevron.
Because my card didn't work.
We weren't together then.
No, years ago. My card wouldn't work, and the guy just looked at me like, dude, I don't want you to go hungry today.
Aww.
And you still have it. Every time I go by that Chevron, I want to hug the guy.
Oh, right.
25 years later.
I think a lot of people have that
I would
trauma.
probably, if I won the lottery, that guy would be on my list of people who I would want to give back to, and he would not even know why.
Right.
It's
That's
like, dude,
crazy.
You gave me the solid that one time. I don't even remember what it was.
I think most people can relate to that feeling at some point in their life.
Oh, especially nowadays at the gas station. I used to go to the gas station and be like, hope I can make it home. And it'd be accepted. You're like, oh, idiots. There's no way I have any money. How do you think I do?
Well, and see, so that is where putting money together could be a negative, though. Because what if you have two people taking from the same account, but they don't talk about it, they don't know what's going on, they don't know what the other one's spending, so they're both looking at the account going, oh shoot, yay, there's this much money in there, and this one doesn't know this one just paid 5 bills and they're all coming out tomorrow.
Nice to have a backup.
Right. So that's a place where I could see people wanting to split, because then they don't have to worry about, oh, I didn't know what your transaction was, shoot, we overdrew because of me. I could see that. I wouldn't do it, but I could see it.
If you went in 70-30 on your vacation, does the 70 get to pick where you go?
No, because what's yours is mine. He's not getting this concept, and it's been over a decade.
Oh, I've gotten the concept.
I guess I could see cases, but also, why wouldn't you just talk about it so that you could plan together? I don't know. I'm still team together.
Well, but we've given no clarity on why. Do you think anyone that listened to that would be like, hey, you know what? That was a such solid point that we're going to share.
The clarity is what's yours is mine, A, and B is we're building a life together.
All
we
they've
should
cleared
have.
up is they don't want to share with you. It does work, but you made it sound kind of terrible.
No, it doesn't sound terrible.
Okay.
What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. That's the rest of it.
I think we know where you're going with that.
Anyways, do you have any other thoughts?
On that subject, sharing. And then what if there was a tragic accident? Oh my God. So this has been in the front of my mind lately, and it really has. But what if we had separate accounts, and you've got $10,000 in yours, and I have 1,000 in mine? And only because this is just in the forefront, my daughter lost a dog recently. But what if the dog needed surgery to live? And the only way for that surgery to live is you give me the 10,000 you have that you've saved up, and I only have 1,000 of it, and you say no. Now,
Yeah.
if it's shared, obviously we're going to talk and do it. But would there be animosity if everything I worked hard for, you had to give me for our dog? Now, I know it's a dog, it's a family, but let's say the dog was 12 years old.
We're spending the
We
10,000.
already are going to have this talk some other day. But God, would there be? What if the person said no? It's 12 years old. It's not.
I couldn't be married to that person.
Well, you're already married, idiot.
You're not saying no.
We're going to talk about it later.
No, we're not.
12 years old. That will be the next talk. Is when is too much?
My dog's gonna live to be at least 19.
Jesus.
I found Great Danes that live to be 19.
What I'm saying is, though, would there be animosity in a situation like
I think there would be on both sides. I think the person who saved all the money would be, but also, if we're married and you saved 10 grand, that's ours.
Not in a separate account situation, it's not.
See, that's what I don't like that.
I'm not doing it.
I didn't say you were doing it.
You're
I'm
looking
saying,
at me like I am. I promise I'm broke.
no, I'm saying if there were separate accounts and one person has a savings and the other person doesn't, that's weird. Because what are you saving for, to leave? There's no reason to save it and not have it
What
be
if
together.
we had separate accounts and I needed help paying for my side of the family's retirement home or hospice care?
I think that should be our job.
I know, but we're trying to talk about why we don't like separate accounts.
That's what I'm saying, because it should be ours. It shouldn't be one person's.
I'm giving up examples.
I know, I was responding to
You're
you.
very tersely.
I'm passionate about it.
I don't have a dime that you don't know about. Jesus. Man, God, my wallet's over there.
It's not you.
But anyway, so that'd be another issue I would think too. When they're separate, you're asking that person to take care of something that is on your side. And then could you imagine if you went, well, no, it's your mom, not mine. I'm not
No,
giving
that's terrible. I don't like that. You agree. We agree.
I guess you just have to label it an importance, right?
I guess so. I guess that's a conversation to have with each other.
I do think, however, the coolest thing about separate accounts is I bet birthday gifts are cooler.
That's the only time it's hard, because it's like
Christmas, birthday.
we don't really do gifts
Well,
because
if I
I'll
buy
just
you
buy
something, you'll get an alert.
it. Right. I know.
They make gifts
That
kinda
does
fun.
make it hard.
Christmas gifts or whatever. I don't. It's not for me.
No. So what we came to a conclusion of is we don't think you should do it. We think what's yours is mine and what's mine is yours.
We're not going to say we don't think you should do it. It's just not for us.
If we were giving advice to a newlywed or a newly fiancéed,
We would just have them watch this
we can just give them this video. Now we have it.
and hope their dogs
Yes.
and their parents.
Yes. But we would love to hear from you why it does or doesn't work, or why it hasn't worked for you in the past, because I just think it's a
I
cool
really just want to hear
topic.
why is it so good to not do it? Because I know why it's so good to do it. That's one thing. I'd like to hear other examples. I'd love to know that why. Because I imagine most of them started sharing and something happened and now they don't. That's just how I feel.
Wait,
Maybe
I
that's
have one
not
more
true,
question.
too.
So what if you're in love and you're married and this is a great relationship, except for now your person has a shopping addiction and they just can't help themselves?
It depends. Is it for golf clubs and golf shirts? Because I just bought this one 2 days ago.
I'm just saying,
what about
like,
this though? What about this? Would you sign a prenup?
Prenups just seem like I've never been in the situation to have that kind of wealth that I was worried about, but I can't imagine that's a healthy way to start a relationship, to start a journey.
But man, what if your family, you inherited $100 million through some family that was made for you, and then you met someone? Would you? I could from both sides, right?
I know.
I don't know.
That one I don't have the answer to.
But isn't that a prenup, separate accounts?
Well, a prenup is just saying if you leave me, you don't have access to this. But if we're married, you do.
I guess the one thing too is in a marriage, the money is built together. So keep it together. Whereas on a prenup situation, typically
they made it before you. That makes sense to me.
Okay,
that makes sense, especially old. Say you're in your 60s, 70s, and you're getting together, and you built all this wealth that you plan on leaving to your children. That makes sense. That was part of your journey. You did it through your whole life. Now you're looking for companionship. Yeah. I would think that you would still take care of the person. If it's built together,
honestly, and I think even if you did terminate the marriage in Washington State, it doesn't matter if you have separate accounts or not. If it was made during the relationship.
I think so. It's 50-50. I think so too.
God, you think we'd know of all people?
We don't. That's a wrap. We got to go take our dog to swimming lessons.
one to, keep them till 19.
19. Thanks for hanging out with us.